Here's the overall agenda for what that training day looks like. 9 to 10 o'clock is the introductory session, and that covers some of the things that we've talked about in here for people that didn't attend the webinar or just to review, and gets into some more detail about kind of the evolution of malware and how the threats have changed from what they were in the early days, what works, doesn't work, and that sort of thing. A little bit more detail about some of the terminology, and a little bit more behind the scenes in terms of how this stuff actually works and what you need to know to get rid of it. Then from 10 to noon is session 1 about the registry. Then we break for lunch. We take an hour for lunch. Coming back from there, session 2 is the actual virus repair techniques and the methodology. A couple of hours for that. And that ends with the lab session. In the lab session, we get into the virus repair toolkit. Every attendee will have their own CD with the virus repair toolkit on it. We talk about what tools are on there. Again, how they're used, what sequence, what their intended purpose is. Then once we've gone through that, we'll have normally 4 infected computers that have been brought in by the first 4 attendees, and we actually clean them up as part of the exercise. So proving this isn't just an academic exercise or something you can read the book or look at a few slides. It actually has real-world implications, and the stuff really works. Now, logical question that probably some of you already had in your mind was, what does this cost? And I love talking about this because it's so easy to demonstrate how easily and quickly it pays for itself. But the short answer is the tuition is $495 per attendee. If you have 2 or more people that need to attend from your organization, there are discounts. If you have 4 or more, it may be more cost effective to actually do an on-site presentation at your location. So we can talk about that if you're in a larger organization with at least 4 people that need the training. Now that fee does include the virus repair toolkit on the CD-ROM. It also includes 30 days of support. Follow up from me with any additional information or your ability to call me with any questions, or if you have a particular problem that is not responding to the methodology or there's something that you think may be new or that wasn't reflected in the materials, you'll have my cell number. You're welcome to call me with those questions, and we'll support you on that. So the great thing about this is the return on your investment is typically measured in weeks, if not days. And what that means is it pays for itself in a very quick time period, and here's where that comes from. When you're looking at the payback, there's several things to consider. The first, most obvious one, is how many hours are you spending on a typical virus repair today, and how many hours you'd be spending on a typical virus repair after you've done the seminar. So if you're, and we'll give you an example here, but the other couple of pieces first, the number of repairs you're doing in a typical week. A lot of the large repair shops and support companies are doing at least 1 or 2 virus repairs per day. Others, it may be 1 or 2 per week. So how many of those you do in a typical week will help determine how long it takes to pay for the training. And the final piece, obviously, is what your hourly billing rate is. So to use some really simplistic examples here, if you only save 1 hour per repair, if you're good enough now that you're only spending 3 hours per virus repair and you get that down to 2 hours, then that's a good step in the right direction. But again, most organizations are spending a lot more than 3 hours, whether it's billable or not. If you do 1 of those per day, so 5 per week, and your hourly rate is just $62.50, which is probably way less than most of you are charging, then just working those numbers, you've recouped that investment of $495 in 8 days. So again, if you're taking more than about 3 hours and doing more than 1 a day, or your hourly rate's more than $62.50, then it's much less than that. So bottom line is that in most cases, in less than a couple of weeks, that $495 per tech has been recovered in a week or 2. And if you really want to apply your own numbers, I've created a simple little Excel spreadsheet or an ROI calculator. I'll be happy to let you download, plug in your own numbers, and see what your payback period is. So along with that, there is a guarantee. And I do believe in putting my money where my mouth is, so here's the guarantee that comes with the virus repair or the virus remediation training workshop. I do guarantee over 90% success rate in removal, and guarantee that less than 10% of them will come back. And it'll take less than 2 hours to complete any virus repair. I would say average, but I'll go ahead and extend that to say any repair shouldn't take more than 2 hours. If you happen to be in a situation that falls outside of those guidelines, I will personally work with you or with your tech one-on-one to get that problem resolved. And frankly, I'm always looking for additional feedback like that because, again, I need to keep the information up to date. I'm in the trenches every day myself dealing with these issues, staying up to date. And one way that I do that is by getting feedback from people that have been through the course and call me and say, hey, how would you deal with this? Such and such isn't doing it, or I've got this other weird symptom. So that's all part of the guarantee, working with you one-on-one. Now, where the training is available, several options here. I am in Houston. I schedule training at least once a month in my office. It's in the Houston area. I'm also doing public training in hotels in other cities. I've had real good success with Hilton Garden Inns. That's normally where I'm going. I'll give some specific cities on the next slide. Again, if you have at least 4 technicians that need to be trained, I can come to you, and it may be cost effective to do that. That gives you the flexibility of scheduling it when you want. If you start earlier in the day, or if you'd rather do it on a weekend, anything like that, you do have additional flexibility there. If you'd like an on-site presentation in the Houston area, we can normally schedule that within 30 days. My schedule is flexible enough that in the Houston area, I have pretty good availability. Other cities, depending on where you are and other variables, it may take a little bit longer than that. The point is, I'll be happy to work with you. Another option that I'm working on is working with other training centers around the country. I'm talking to several of them now, and if you have a particular training center that you work with, have a good opinion of, and they're receptive to working with another course content, especially centers that are doing things like A+ training, MCSE, Cisco, or other high-level techie type training, this could be an ideal product for them to add to their curriculum. So if you'd like to pass along information about any companies like that, I'd be happy to work with them and, again, make it more convenient to you. So for any of those options, there's my email address. You can contact me directly, kdwight@thevirusdoc.com, and I'll be glad to talk with you about scheduling or pricing for the on-site training. As far as the upcoming public training dates, here are 3 of the next live sessions I have scheduled. One here in Houston, and some of you on the call are in the Houston area, and that'll be coming up next Thursday, a week from today, September 15th. It'll also be coming in Atlanta on Thursday, September 29th, and this will be at the Hilton Garden Inn on the northeast side, the Atlanta Perimeter Center, and also coming to Omaha, Nebraska on October 6th, which coincidentally is also on a Thursday, and that'll be at the Hilton Garden Inn, Omaha West. So those are the dates and those are the options. I would encourage you, if you plan to attend or send somebody, please sign up as soon as possible. These are small classes. I do limit them to 8 individuals, so everybody has plenty of hands-on time, plenty of room to work with, and especially when you bring in infected computers, room to spread out, for everybody to gather around and see what's going on. So I obviously hope the classes fill up, but the earlier you register, the better your likelihood is of being able to be accommodated. And the first 4 people that sign up for each class are invited to bring in infected computers, and we'll actually fix those as part of the workshop. Now, if you happen to be one of the first 4 and don't need to bring in an infected computer, if you'd let me know at the time, then we'll let that opportunity pass along to the next person. So those are a couple of the things to consider. But probably the biggest one to consider is, what will it cost you not to have this training? Now, I know this sounds more like a salesy person than a geek, and I'm still a geek, so I'm doing the sales piece kind of kicking and screaming. But just to review some of the things that could make it worth your while to attend this training as soon as possible. One of the biggies is if you have an unhappy client because you give them too big a bill for malware cleanup. If you do have 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of tech time to clean up a virus, if you are nervy enough to charge a client for that, then chances are they're not going to like it. Even if they pay it, they may not have as high an opinion of you afterwards. So obviously it's in your best interest to do that in a shorter period of time. Even worse, if you're spending time you can't bill for. If you're a managed service provider where the client is paying you a fixed monthly cost per workstation, and it takes your tech 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, but you calculated that in at an hour and a half on average, then you're eating that, and that's not good for your bottom line. From the client side, even if the billable time is only an hour or 2 or 3, the time they're without that computer, not able to run their business or do what they need to do, is a much bigger factor than a few dollars worth of billable time. If you do choose the option of reimaging the computer, again, you know the client is never happy with it. It's not the same as it was before. It doesn't look the same. There's some missing programs or some data or some settings. It's not a very attractive option. And again, if that's what you're going to do for the client, they can have the teenager next door do that for them. Or possibly even worse, you tell the client the machine is all cleaned up, they hook it back up, and before you know it, the malware is back. That makes you look bad, and again leads to more time that you're going to have to eat. The last point here is becoming more of an issue, especially in the Houston area. More and more companies have sent their people through this training. So in the Houston area to date, I've had 38 organizations that have taken the training. Now 23 of those are actually outsourced IT support organizations. So if you're providing outsourced IT support and don't have the training, there are 23 companies in Houston that do, that may be more effective in dealing with these issues than you can. So so far it's been mostly the Houston area, but again, we're taking this nationwide. It'll be hopefully more of a factor before long all over the place. So with that, if you don't have the latest brochure, there's a link you can click. I know it's a long link, but it is a clickable link. It's a PDF document, a 2-page document that describes the training in more detail. It does have the registration form, the different locations it's coming to, and the option for you to sign up for those. Or you can certainly contact me directly. There's my email address. Again, it's kdwight@thevirusdoc.com, or my phone number, 281-537-0252. And if that does go to voicemail, just leave a message. I will get back to you in a reasonable period of time. I usually check the voicemail several times per day. And again, once you become a client, you'll have access to my cell phone and even better access to me. So those are your options. We've covered a lot of ground. And again, I tried to anticipate most of the questions that could have come up. But just checking the chat box here, don't see anything that hasn't been covered. So one last chance before we call it a day. I do appreciate all of your being here, and again, feel free to contact me directly with any questions or to reserve a spot in any of those upcoming seminars. So, thank you again for your time. Have a great rest of the day.